Mike Singer.
Hey, Michael, we keep talking about it. They score 66 in the second half, and I think you guys had it within 2 possessions 5 separate times in the final 2 minutes. Did the defense just betray you guys tonight?
Yeah, I think so, Mike. And it wasn't for a lack of effort. Obviously, no Jamal, no Gary, no PJ, no Faku. We played a lot of our guys that hadn't really gotten extended minutes before, and very proud of those guys. Guys like RJ Hampton, guys like Marcus Howard, even Vlatko in that first half. But first half, you hold them to 44 from the field, 33 from three, and only 53 points. And then to your point, second half, that number jumps up to 66 points, 52 from the field, and I think they were 9 of 20 from three in the second half for 45%. And obviously that's the name of the game, man. You got to be able to guard as consistently and close to 48 minutes as possible. And I just had a couple of key breakdowns down the stretch that you can't afford to have in a close game on the road. So love the effort, love the fight, undermanned. But once again, it's a tough road trip to go 0-2. I believe we have a 4-game homestand starting off with Milwaukee on Monday. It's going to be a hell of a challenge. So hopefully we can find a way to get healthy, get some fresh bodies back, and find a way to protect our home court a lot better than we have thus far this season.
Joel Rush.
Hey, Coach. RJ Hampton had 10 rebounds tonight and some nice defensive plays, like one at the end of the third quarter to close out on De'Aaron Fox. But what do you see as his defensive upside now that you've been with him for a little more than a quarter of a season?
Yeah, everything you just said. I mean, he's athletic, he's bouncy, he rebounded the ball at a very high level tonight. He was, to your point, he had 10 boards, which led the whole team. Here's a young man who comes off the bench and plays 28 minutes and grabs 10 boards. Not afraid to mix it up, aggressive. And defensively, he's shown on multiple occasions now that he can go out there and really lock in and guard a player and help us on that end of the floor. So excited about the potential. And every time, to his credit, he's given an opportunity to play extended minutes. He takes advantage of it. And that's what you like to see. Obviously, you never want any of your guys to be out with injuries. But with no Jamal, Gary, PJ, Faku, rotational players, RJ's done a really good job of taking advantage of those opportunities. So he's proven that he's trustworthy and he can go out there and help us on both ends of the floor. So I was really happy for him tonight.
Mike Singer.
Hey, Michael, you said it before the game. Nikola never complains about whatever situation. Obviously, you guys are undermanned tonight. He plays more aggressive, ends up getting a career-high 50. What can you say about his approach, particularly in the second half? I think he had 36 over the last 2 quarters.
You guys aren't going to understand this, but more impressive than the 50 points, the 12 assists, the 8 rebounds, 41 minutes played, was what you mentioned, his approach, his mindset, his leadership. He knew that we were undermanned. He knew that we had 2 starters out and a couple of rotation guards out as well off the bench. In the huddles at halftime, I ran the whole third quarter, and he goes, hey, listen, I'm ready to go. Get me back in the game. He didn't want to sit. He understood how important this game was, and you got to love that about him. Never makes any excuses. And you see all these other superstar tandems around the NBA. And Nikola goes out and does his job. Who's ever available, who's ever ready to help him, great. But 50 points, career high, he doesn't care. We lost the game. That's all he's going to care about tonight is that he lost the game. He'd much rather get a career high in 50 and a win. And that's why I think we all feel very fortunate to have him as our superstar player because he truly embodies being selfless and unselfish at all times.
Vinny Benedetto.
Yeah, Michael, I think this is the second time in 3 games Tyrese Haliburton has hit a big 3 against you guys in the fourth quarter. I guess what have you seen from him so far in his rookie season?
Oh, he's reigning Western Conference Rookie of the Month for a reason, right? The guy is kicked our ass every time we played him, and he has just poise, confidence that you don't see from many rookies. And I think one of the question marks about Tyrese when he was coming into the draft was the question of how real is his jump shot. I think there was questions about his form, kind of a funny release, but the numbers at Iowa State, were terrific. And I think he's just come in and said, you can doubt me. You can say I have a funny release if you want. End of the day, the ball goes in, and that's all that matters. So yeah, 23 points, 6 assists, and does so very efficiently. 8 of 12 from the field, knocks down 4 threes, and as you mentioned, Vinny, hits a clutch jumper. So he's not afraid to take and make big shots, which is really promising and encouraging and exciting for all these great Sacramento Kings fans.
We've got time for one more. We're going to end with Ryan Blackburn.
Coach, Michael Porter Jr. had a really rough game today on both sides of the floor. How do you get him back on track with this group? How do you get him back on track and in step with the rest of this team?
Sometimes you have to participate in your own recovery. It's not always the head coach's job to, hey, I'm going to fix Michael Porter. He had a rough night tonight, as you mentioned, Ryan. He was a -20 for the game, struggled to make shots. He did rebound. Obviously, went out there and got 9 boards. So it starts with Michael, and I have no doubt that he'll be better next game. And he's just got to understand defensively, that's where we as a team, he individually, as well as everybody else in that locker room, that's where we really need to commit. The jump shot's going to come and go. That's why defense is so important. If defense is your anchor, you're going to have a chance to win games. And unfortunately, these last 2 games on this short road trip, that hasn't been the case consistently enough. In LA, we had pretty good first half defense, second half non-existent. Tonight, really good first half defense, second half we struggled a little bit. So it requires a 48-minute effort. But Michael's still young, and we're going to continue to help him find his way. And I know that he's really down on himself right now because he knows that he didn't play his best game. So you pick him up, you encourage him, and you continue to find ways to help him.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.